what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Just wanted to do a quick little weekend recap. Now, I know it's Fundamental Friday, and Mike and I were going to do an AMD video. AMD is next. It is coming, just due to time restraints. Our schedules couldn't line up, and I didn't want to just have Mike on this one. Going forward, Mike will probably be, most of the time, just him going over it. And that's what I like, you know. So if you jump on here and you don't see me, it's Fundamental Fridays going over the numbers. It's not opinion related. It is just facts at that point. So just stuff to think about. But if we do look at the Nasdaq, today was a green day, but yesterday it had officially entered correction territory. If we go down here, let's grab the. We'll go from the top to the bottom. Here's the absolute peak. Here is the sell-off. Every time I do that, sorry, there we go. Boom. I was like, man, I didn't want that volume bar to be in the way. This is why I don't like indicators. I don't like things clogging up my stuff. But if we're looking at it right now, that's 11% down. And a pullback is up to 9%. A correction, 10 to 19%. And then a crash is 20% or more. That is the actual definition. There is no such thing as a 6% crash. That's just someone who doesn't know what they're talking about or know even the most basic of terms. So if all we're getting is a correction, we're officially here. I do think we're just kind of overdue for that pullback. And a pullback to the upside, right? So if we're trending down, the pullback would be to the upside. I went ahead and I had to stay bullish. You know, like we broke the low. I talked about the bottom being in, and then we broke that low, which was really, honestly, it was really annoying. But I just can't help but feel like that is the bear trap, you know? I have to delete the volume. This is annoying. Sorry. I don't... Get out of here. I want to be able to see the wicks, the bodies. I don't want things mixing. Anyway, looking at the this is the Nasdaq futures right here. We're snapping it back up. Now, last time I said that right here, we sold off, bought up, sold off a little bit further, snapped it back up, didn't quite make it as down, still snapped it back up. And I talked about buyers being in here, whether it's sellers buying back to close or people buying the dip. They were here, and then the next day, boom, we sell off. We even break the previous low, which was annoying, and it kind of led me down the path of I just need to play the trend until that thing does change. And if we do start to push up, I am still going to go short. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. What I don't like doing is buying puts at the very bottom. And I feel like that's chasing. I already top-ticked this thing, and I shorted a good distance down. And I've even had a couple great just trending days where I just went short the NASDAQ. But nothing I can really just lean into, you know, because we're just already down, you know. And that's the thing. We could get spicy to the upside, and I feel like that'll just be a meaningless loss. And I'm kind of just in this limbo. And you know, we could talk about that for a little bit. While playing the trend is... The trend is your friend, right? We have all these sayings for a reason. I certainly didn't come up with them. But when you're looking at things, there is time where you just have to hang out and wait. Like, you know, like, do you really want to short it? Now, honestly, so that was yesterday. Oh, sorry, that was today. Sorry. We're not on the 4-hour, on the daily. So if you look at that, that's a reversal candle. People can get lost in the candle names and what it looks like and all that. It's not bad to have a reversal candle like that on a trend. How this is kind of setting up kind of looks like this green candle right here. Now, ultimately, this candle's red because we opened here and closed here. You know, if we were to really, like, we opened here, closed here. That's what made it red. This one, we opened here and closed here, making that physical candle green. So, but it kind of looks the same. Like when we're down, you see that might be the bottom. I mean, if we were to just draw this line even right here, really, you got this wick. You have anything right here, anything in this. I don't want to draw a new box, but anything here. I don't want anybody to confuse that with the zone. Anything right there, buyers are picking up. Right? Shorts are getting out. Nobody's holding on to it. So we still have a solid 4 days of no one's hanging on to this thing. While we are creeping this thing lower, they're not holding on to it. It's getting bought up. So what I am looking for is I am bullish over the weekend. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I want to explain just this limbo trade or limbo scenario and why I haven't really done anything. Why anything I do is like I go short. I was even long earlier than the Nasdaq. Here's the open. Yeah, it's right here. I went long at the Qs. It was open. It was great. It was a quick little snap. I went short, and that was a great ride down. Right about this zone, I did go long the NQ. They were asking me in the chat, like, is it too late to chase? And honestly, I was looking at that, and I was like, we might have a trending day. I wanted to get above this. So it was even a decent day, but as far as, like, any swing trading, man, just looking at... this is what that daily candle looks like broken down. That just looks like a little sweet reversal. Hopefully we do see it to the upside. I guess right now, honestly, where am I looking to enter puts again? We'll see if it's QQQ. SPY will do it. I'll pull up that chart in a second. QQQ, I got to be looking at this bright yellow zone. At that point, yeah, we might hiccup here and, you know, push up here Monday, turn around Tuesday, we end it down here, but then we break through Wednesday. We can see stuff like that. We could even see a decent rally would really push this thing up to here. And this bright yellow zone, I think, would be a phenomenal short entry as of now. If we were to rally for a couple of days, whatever the excuse is, tariffs don't happen anymore, whatever they push to our faces will likely be whatever the reason is. And then if we could just get up to there, I think it'd be great. Now looking at the S&P, so we dropped all the way down today. So all we did was play the zone game today. You know, so we started here, now we sold off, hit that zone, came right back up. So if you were even a futures trader day, you went zone to zone, zone to zone. All you had to do was short the yellow zone, buy at this yellow zone, and you had, what, just a couple of great trades. But I hate to say it again, I sound like a broken record. I think I'm bullish. In the previous video, I told you I did not want these lows breaking, and it did. I was like, yeah, come on. You know, this is part of trading. If you guys haven't been there, if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're brand new, you're thinking, are you flip-flopping? The other day you didn't want it to break. It broke it, but you're still like, yeah, I went intraday short, but I'm just not, I don't know if it's a gut feeling. And so I've been doing this 13 years. And I'm not bragging or anything. My gut feeling is different from your gut feeling if you've only done it a couple of years. Not to say that that's right, or you're just out here just shooting from the hip intuition trading. But I'm stuck on this, and we'll see how it pans out. And like I said in the previous video, I even already threw this disclaimer out. Sometimes you just get stuck fighting the trend. Looking back with hindsight, you're like, that was the dumbest thing ever. Look, all we did was lower lows, lower highs, and here I am around this area thinking, let's buy this. You know, like here was a long player here. It worked out great. I'm getting there. We're buying it, putting the stop in the green, so I'm still making money. But think of how many times I had to trade to make money versus I could have went short here. How many opportunities I had to go short, kick my feet up on the desk, take one trade, and beat the brakes off of anything I've done. Now that comes with the power of hindsight, and you don't want to get caught up in that because it's just going to mess with your future trades. But again, to go over this, the takeaways from this video is, yes, I'm bullish. I'm long once again. I have a problem going short right now. Nasdaq again fully corrected. The S&P not quite there. Let's go to, here's our all-time highs. We go down to the lows. We're at just shy. I mean, if I fudge it, we're at 7.9%. We'll call it 8. That is still just pull back. Checking that correction box is a pretty big box to check. That does take off a lot of, oh man, I gotta shout out Steve in the group. He calls it market breath. You know, we breathe in, breathe out, the ebb and flow of things. Now, these little measly 2-5% pullbacks, they don't actually mean jack. In a bull market, that's quite literally nothing. I mean, those are all the time. The market could sneeze. The S&P's not that violent, but, you know, it's not uncommon, you know. But checking that box of correction, that is a decent pullback. That is a great pullback to start buying. Crashes, again, are where you make the most money. Because if the S&P's down 20%, whatever tickers you're in, your individual tickers, probably just got raked over the coals. But, you know, so a crash, when the S&P is down 20%, that's a great indicator to start picking things up. If you wait to just start buying every correction, you'd do pretty well yourself as well. You'd probably have a little more red. You'd probably, if you were to just take that as a basic rule of I'm only going to buy in corrections, you would probably make more money than the person who only buys the crashes, just because you'll be in more trades. You'll have more opportunities, and you would have already been at the, so think of how many more opportunities you would buy at that correction versus the guy who's going to buy a little bit better, but he buys every couple of years. You'd probably smoke that guy. So it's not a bad time to check that box and start thinking about buying. I still think we're not doing good. The writing is on the wall. I don't care what green candles come out next. I don't care what the leading excuse is. I'm looking for a lower high. The higher we could push this thing, the better. I would be genuinely floored and surprised if we push, let's say we rally right now. Monday is green and we just send it. Whatever, pick your reason. The Tooth Fairy is real. Granted Powell some money. There's just not a world I see that we hit all-time highs right now. If we do that, I feel like I would be so wrong. That's not even just like a normal wrong. That would be bad. that being said, traders, we make money off of movement. Doesn't really matter. It's why you kind of leave the investment accounts alone. What you wouldn't want to miss out on your investment account is a rip your face off rally, because a lot of times when we do pivot and make that turn, you can cover a lot of ground really quickly. And if you're buying up after that, you get the grind, but you don't get that explosive move. I know this video is a little bit longer. I'll wrap it up here. Just kind of want to explain, Nasdaq did officially correct, what it's like to be in that limbo where you just kind of have to wait. You know, the last example is, depending on how new you are or experienced, there are times, and I haven't used this example in a while, but imagine just your gears. You're just one tooth off. The market's down, you're trying to buy. The market's rallying and you're trying to short. It sucks. Getting caught in those spells really suck. And that's where you can either do that and you can fight it. Sometimes you pan out. Sometimes it just hurts. And then sometimes you're just in this limbo where patience, it is the best play. You just got to sit the few days out. It does seem like an eternity. You're just sitting there watching. Nothing's happening. No money's moving around your account. Like, I could have been short and made a lot more. Like, we're not talking 4 digits. That could have been 5 or 6. You know, like, you're rocking, but you didn't. You chose the $2 grand trade. But anyway, sometimes that's just kind of where you have to be and wait for the right move. I've been here enough to know that pays more often than not. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Let me know again in the comments down below. All engagement is killing it, and shout out to you guys for all these comments. Doing a video every day, the more comments, the more engagement, the more I do it. So I genuinely love it. But anyway, if you're not subscribed, make sure you are. We're going to be here live Sunday when futures open, out 1 hour after futures open. We're going to see what we got going on. Better be a green candle. Anyway, I'll see you guys Sunday.